to, or welcome back to Calm in Christ. I'm really glad you're here. This channel is basically for people like me, people who are trying to figure out faith, trying to understand God, trying to heal mentally, and honestly, just trying to keep going when their mind makes everything feel so much harder. I'm not coming on here as someone who has life figured out. I'm not a pastor, I'm not a Bible expert, and I'm definitely not someone who feels spiritually strong all the time. I'm someone who's learning, someone who struggles, someone who overthinks, someone who deals with fear and confusion, sometimes while still desperately wanting to hold on to God. And maybe that's why you're here too. Maybe you've been trying to come back to faith, or maybe you're completely new to it like I am. But at the same time, your mental health feels heavy. Your mind feels loud, and no matter how badly you want peace, your thoughts keep dragging you into dark places. And honestly, I didn't expect faith to feel this confusing. I really thought that once I decided to seriously seek God, things would start making sense. I thought maybe I'd suddenly feel peaceful, grounded, certain. But instead, sometimes it feels like there are more questions than answers. There's so much information, so many opinions, so many denominations, so many people explaining things differently. And sometimes it feels overwhelming, like I don't even know where to start. I tried reading the Bible, and sometimes I understand parts of it, but other times I'll read something and just sit there thinking, what did I just read? And for a while, I honestly thought something was wrong with me. Like maybe I wasn't smart enough, maybe I wasn't spiritual enough, maybe I wasn't understanding things the right way. And I think mental health can make those feelings even worse. Because when your mind already overthinks everything, faith can sometimes start feeling overwhelming too. You want to understand God correctly. You want to believe correctly. You want to do everything right. And when you don't instantly understand everything, your mind can start panicking. At least mine does. Sometimes I'll sit there trying to pray or read scripture, and instead of feeling peaceful, my brain starts spiraling. Questions start racing, fear starts creeping in, intrusive thoughts start showing up. Overthinking starts taking over. And suddenly, instead of feeling close to God, I feel mentally exhausted. And honestly, that can feel terrifying sometimes. Because when you're trying to grow in faith, but your own mind keeps pulling you into fear, you can start feeling like you're failing spiritually. Like maybe if I really trusted God, I wouldn't feel this anxious. If my faith was stronger, my thoughts wouldn't be this dark. If I prayed more, maybe my mind would stop doing this. And I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but sometimes the harder I try not to think certain things, the louder my brain gets. It's like mentally fighting against yourself. You want to focus on God, but your thoughts keep dragging you somewhere dark. You want peace, but your mind refuses to slow down. You want to pray, but your brain keeps interrupting everything with fear and overthinking. And after a while, it can generally make you feel broken. Like maybe everybody else understands faith better than you do. Like everybody else has this calm, peaceful connection with God. While you're over here mentally exhausted, just trying to get through one prayer without spiraling. And honestly, I think one of the hardest parts is the guilt. Because deep down, you want God. You want peace. You want to understand. You want to feel spiritually grounded. But your mind almost feels like it's working against you. And after a while, you start wondering, why can't I just feel normal? Why does my brain make everything harder? Why do I still feel mentally exhausted after praying? Why does my mind keep taking me to dark places no matter how hard I try? And sometimes you can even start feeling ashamed, especially when you see other people who seem so confident in faith, like they just get it. And you're sitting there thinking, why don't I feel like that? But something I'm slowly starting to realize is we don't see their process. We don't see their questions, their fears, their confusion, their struggles. We usually only see the finished version of people, not the messy beginning. And maybe confusion is actually part of the beginning. Because think about it. Anything new feels confusing at first. You wouldn't expect yourself to master something on day one. So why do we expect that with faith? Why do we expect ourselves to instantly understand the Bible, instantly feel spiritually strong, instantly know how to pray perfectly, instantly feel peaceful? Maybe growth with God is slower and more personal than we realize. Maybe faith isn't about suddenly becoming perfect overnight. Maybe it's about continuing to take small steps, even while confused. And honestly, that's what I'm trying to do. Not perfectly, just honestly. And there's a verse I've been holding on to lately because it makes me feel less alone in the struggle. In Mark 9:24, a man cries out to Jesus and says, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." And honestly, that verse hits me deeply because that's exactly what this journey can feel like sometimes. Wanting to believe, wanting to trust God, wanting faith, while also struggling internally at the same time. That verse reminds me that even in the middle of confusion, fear, doubt, and mental exhaustion, we can still come to God. Not pretending, not performing, just honestly. Because there are days where my mind feels like a battlefield, days where I overthink everything, days where fear gets loud, days where intrusive thoughts or anxiety make it feel almost impossible to focus, days where I generally want to feel close to God, but mentally I feel drained and disconnected. And during those moments, it's easy to start believing the lie that you're failing. But I really don't think struggling mentally means you're failing spiritually. I think mental health struggles are real. I think anxiety is real. OCD is real. Depression is real. Trauma is real. Overthinking is real. And when your brain is struggling, it can distort everything: your peace, your confidence, your emotions, your concentration, even the way you think God sees you. You can start believing things like, God must be disappointed in me. I'm too messed up. I'm too mentally broken. I'm not good enough at faith. But honestly, I'm starting to think that continuing to seek God while mentally struggling takes more strength than people realize. Because it's hard. It's hard trying to pray when your thoughts feel loud. It's hard trying to read the Bible when your mind keeps spiraling. It's hard to stay hopeful when fear keeps hitting you over and over again. And yet, you're still trying. That matters. Seriously. The fact that you're still searching for God, still trying to understand, still praying even when it feels difficult, still watching videos like this, that matters more than you think. Because maybe faith isn't about never struggling. Maybe faith is continuing to reach for God even while struggling. And honestly, maybe some of us are being way too hard on ourselves. Maybe God never expected us to have everything figured out immediately. Maybe He knew this journey would feel messy sometimes. Maybe He understands the exhaustion, the overthinking, the confusion, the fear. Maybe He sees every quiet moment where you're trying your best even though your mind feels heavy. I needed to hear that myself, because there are days where I generally feel spiritually tired, days where I feel emotionally overwhelmed, days where I want to feel close to God, but my mind feels so loud that it can barely focus. And during those moments, it can feel like everybody else is spiritually strong while you're drowning internally. But I don't think struggling means you're failing. I think struggling means you're human. Even people in the Bible struggled emotionally. People felt fear, confusion, hopelessness, exhaustion. People cried out to God in pain. So if your faith journey feels messy right now, you're not alone. And if your mental health makes faith feel harder sometimes, you are not weak. You are not defective. You are not beyond hope. And you are not unloved by God. I know sometimes the darkest part is feeling like your own mind is against you. That feeling where no matter how hard you try to think positively, your brain keeps pulling you back into fear or hopelessness. And after a while, that exhaustion can make you feel defeated. But I want to say something really important. Just because your mind is struggling does not mean your heart has given up. Sometimes your thoughts do not reflect your true heart. And sometimes the fact that you keep trying to seek God despite the mental battle says more about your faith than you realize. Because giving up would honestly be easier, but you're still here, still searching, still hoping, still trying, even if it feels messy. And maybe healing and faith are both slower journeys than we expected. Maybe growth doesn't happen overnight. Maybe peace comes in small moments instead all at once. Maybe faith sometimes looks less like certainty and more like quietly saying, God, I'm struggling, but I still want you. And if that's where you are right now, I really believe God hears that. So if you found this channel because you're struggling mentally, confused spiritually, trying to come back to faith, or just trying to hold on to hope while your mind feels heavy, I want you to know something. You're not behind. You're not doing faith wrong. You're just starting. And maybe instead of trying to understand everything all at once, we just focus on taking one small step at a time. That's what I'm trying to do. Not perfectly, just honestly. And if you're in that same place, we're figuring this out together. I'll see you in the next one.